Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's talk about deadlifting. Oh damn, where'd my son go? My spotlight disappeared. Alright, so yeah, let's talk about deadlifts, right? Now, a lot of people find it very interesting that I don't do deadlifts on a back day. People are like, you don't do deadlifts on back day? Really? Deadlifts are back exercise. Like, people think deadlifts are back exercise. A lot of people think this. I'm here to inform you this is not the case. At best, deadlifts technically are a full body exercise. But deadlifts, when you think about it, are a leg exercise. The reason why I say that is because now, how do you target muscle, right? Let's say you do bicep curls. Now, in the middle of a bicep curl, you'll feel a lot of tension in your forearm muscles, right? But you're not doing bicep curls so you get big forearms, right? You're doing bicep curls to target your biceps, right? And so, and the same thing goes for a chest press or a tricep extension, whatever the case is, right? It's called a chest press, right? There will be other muscles that work isometrically within that movement, but the muscles that you're using to stabilize the torso and stuff, those are not the muscles you're targeting. Those are the muscles that are assisting you in targeting something else, right? Your forearms assist you so that you can work the bicep. Just like in a deadlift, your upper back and mid back and lower back muscles assist you in targeting your glutes and hamstrings in a deadlift, right? Because think about it. In a deadlift, the only muscles that really go through a concentric and eccentric phase are the glutes and the hamstrings, right? And the quadriceps as well, right? And then there's the hip flexors and you know, hip flexors, hip extensors, and all of those are leg muscles, right? The only thing your back muscles are doing, as well as your obliques and your erectus abdominis and all of that, those muscles are just simply stabilizing your torso, right? So you don't get into that scared cat position and round out your back, right? You see some people, and they're like this, and they pull, right? And they look like their discs are just ready to just shoot out, right? And their form looks terrible. And so I see a lot of people who deadlift with this round back, and you ask them, yo, what do you feel more in your deadlift? You feel your lower back a lot, or do you feel your glutes a lot? And a lot of people who deadlift like that, most people, they feel their lower back working a lot. So they think it's a back exercise. They think it's like a lower back strengthening exercise, right? But that's not really what it is. You don't target your back with deadlifts. Your back muscles should not be going through an eccentric phase in the deadlift, right? If you're feeling a lot of lumbar pressure, let me tell you something, that is not good in your deadlift. Okay, you got to address that first. Now, here's the interesting thing about deadlifts, and it's a very nuanced thing to talk about because a deadlift can be used for so many different purposes, right? It's not just for building hamstrings and glutes. You can use it and it will be very effective. It's one of the best things you can do to build your glutes and your hamstrings, right? Deadlifting is one of the best things you can use to target those muscles. But a deadlift is a very multi-purposeful thing, right? You can build your grip tremendously by doing deadlifts. You can improve your posture tremendously by doing deadlifts, right? Because really the quality of your deadlift hinges on your posture, your ability to extend, right, at the spine. If you can't extend at the spine, if you can't reach that spinal extension to develop that rigid extension at the torso and really lock that position in, you're not really going to be able to do much weight on a deadlift, right? So really, as you get a stronger deadlift, you're just having a stronger posture, right? And stronger glutes and hamstrings and a stronger stronger grip and all that type of stuff, right? But I mainly, rather than talking about all that kind of stuff, I really wanted to talk about hypertrophy, right? Actual muscle growth. If you're training for muscle growth and you want to use deadlifts for muscle growth, it would make more sense to put your deadlifts on a leg day, right? Now, You can put it before your squat or after your squat. You can have, like, a good example would be 2 leg days. One of your leg days you deadlift first, and then the second one you deadlift after your squats, right? Or something like that. You know, if you have really strong quads and really weak hamstrings and glutes, you want to prioritize glutes and hamstrings first, right? Maybe you want to start off with hip bridges, barbell hip bridges, right? So that you can really, really get intimate with the contraction of the glutes. You can really develop that mind-muscle connection. I made a video about that, right? You can't grow muscle if you ain't getting that mind-muscle connection. You need that. You need to feel that contraction. You need to really feel that muscle working. And so a hip bridge is a good way to really isolate the glutes and develop that connection with that muscle. Once you do that, then you can move on to something like a deadlift, right? Get nice and comfortable in that starting position in your deadlift, because let me tell you something, when the biggest key to a deadlift is getting into the right starting position, right? If you have a terrible starting position in a deadlift, your deadlift is just gonna suck, right? So definitely get a good starting position in your deadlift next. And then after you just rip out on them deadlifts, right? Do what you do, target those glutes and hamstrings, then you can move over to the squat, right? And so basically, if a person has really strong quads, but their glutes and hamstrings are really weak, it's because you got a muscle imbalance, and it's probably because you've been prioritizing your squats a lot. Maybe you do a lot of lunges, maybe you do a lot of biking, recumbent bike and stuff. Maybe you do a lot of jogging and things like that, and you're really just, your nervous system is just primed for knee bending, not hip bending. And so when you want to build your glutes and your hamstrings, all you got to simply do is just prioritize hip bending as opposed to knee bending, right? And that's basically how you fix that. And I know that I'm talking about a whole bunch of different things right now, but I just figured I'd throw some extra value in there. Now, for people who want to do deadlifting on a back day, if you're going to do deadlifting on a back day, the best way you could utilize that, because there are a lot of back muscle, you're going to use all your back muscle in a deadlift, right? But if you're going to do that, it would make more sense to start off your back day with, let's say, singles, doubles, and triples, right? As far as reps, 1 rep, 2 reps, 3 reps, and maybe you do like 4 sets heavy on a deadlift. And so what happens here is when you do that, your nervous system is going to be acclimated, like, all right, cool, we're lifting heavy. And so your nervous system is going to get acclimated to lifting heavy. And so once you're done with those heavy deadlifts and you go to like a pull-up, which is a lighter weight, you go to a lat pull-down, wide grip, close grip, seated cable row, whatever you want to do, right? Single arm row. You're going to be working with weight that's a lot lighter, right? And so that weight's going to feel real light. So you can rep it out and really get the training volume in. Now, that's a good way. That's more so a really good way. That's the most beneficial way you can use a deadlift on a back day. And the reason for that is because it's just nervous system preparation, right, for the back workout. Essentially, it's like a dynamic warm-up almost, right? It's what you do before the back workout. It's not even the back workout. It's the priming of the nervous system. Okay. So that's how you could do that, okay? But again, for hypertrophy reasons, you're going to see the most gains, you're going to see the most strength increase on your deadlift by putting it on a leg day. You're going to see the most hamstring and glute growth if you put the deadlift on a leg day. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for your time. I hope this was useful information for you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.